Hey everybody, it's Aisha White, and I'm here today to talk to you about the concept of eye contact. So, when it comes to communication, you want to show that you are a good listener and you're engaged in a conversation by making good eye contact. There are two things you can do in this situation. You can avert your eyes or you can sustain eye contact. And they both say two very different things. So, what are we saying when we decide to look away or when we decide to maintain eye contact? So, if you avert your eyes, what you could be saying to the person that you're in the conversation with is, I'm nervous, I lack confidence, I'm untrustworthy. Those are not good things that you want to convey to someone else, especially upon first meeting them. What you'll want to do to avoid something like this is to just think to yourself what it is that is your goal in that conversation. I know for me, I definitely fall into that trap. If I'm nervous around someone, then I'll start looking away. As if sometimes I'm like trying to gather my thoughts, as if my thoughts are like somewhere off in space or somewhere on the floor, and just kind of trying to think through the next thing to say in a conversation. But what that could be signifying to somebody is that, I'm nervous, that I'm uncomfortable, that maybe even that I'm uninterested in what they have to say. And if I really sit and think about it, if I'm in a situation where I'm talking to somebody and that person is not maintaining eye contact with me, I feel like I'm not being heard. I feel like they're uninterested. If I see their eyes going in these other directions, I'm usually looking over my shoulder like, what is it that's distracting you? Why aren't you engaged in what I'm saying to you? You feel like what you're saying has no value or it's just boring. And if you think about that for a second, you can kind of pull yourself out of that practice of looking away, looking down, because you know that it makes you feel unheard when someone does something like that to you. So it's easier said than done. Always, I understand. It's always easier said than done. But if you think about it for a second, and even if you're in the middle of looking down, then think about it for a second and bring yourself back to center and meet their eyes. And it might feel pained, like when I'm nervous to meet somebody, or I'm not gonna lie, if it's like a really attractive person that's in front of me, then sometimes I have trouble looking them in the eye. It takes a second. I have to almost warm up to them before I can look them into their eyes. But once I do, and once the conversation continues to go, then you feel more settled. At least I do. I feel more settled into the conversation, and I feel that it's an actual exchange of words, and I feel confident that they know I'm really listening. And it gives you a confidence boost almost when you start to look into their eyes and you know that you all feel as if you're on the same level. Like they're not looking down on you or anything like that. And you're showing to them what they say has some value. So it's a positive to, instead of averting your eyes, to maintain eye contact. So what are you saying when you sustain eye contact? You're saying things like, I am confident. You're saying, I am interested in the conversation or maybe in the person you're talking to. And that comes across. And that's important for people. It can also be a sign of respect. If someone is, if it's like a parent and they're reprimanding you, they want you to look them in their eyes and listen to them. Know that you're tuned in to what they're saying. If it's an authority figure, like a boss at work, and then also if it's just someone that's your equal, someone that's a friend, they just want to know that you're respecting them enough that you're listening to what they have to say. So at the end of the day, it comes down to showing that person that you are before, that what they have to say is important, what they say has value, that you're listening. Because when we think about having good listening skills, it's not just the act of hearing the words, but it's also allowing somebody to feel comfortable enough that they know that that you're there, that you're tuned in. And often that means making eye contact with them, because it can be distracting that person too if they're in the middle of a conversation and you're looking at these other things. Like I said, it's you looking past the person. They're looking over their shoulder like, wait, what am I missing? And it's a dead giveaway that you are not listening. Now, there are extremes in the situations too, right? So someone who sustains eye contact, but a little bit too long, like they never break eye contact. I've been in those situations before. You know, you can feel someone watching you and you turn and you make eye contact with them, but they don't look away. They keep looking, and it's like they're staring you down. You're like, oh, okay. That's when you drop everything and you run, because it's a little scary. You're like, nah, I don't know about this. So if there's anybody out there that, you know, maybe it just didn't click for you in your brain that, like, maybe you should stop looking at someone for a while. That just means, like, glancing away. That immediately makes it less uncomfortable. But if you continue staring at somebody, I've been in some real intense conversations where someone continued staring at me, and it felt like we didn't have a break. And sometimes I'd be the one that glanced away, and they never did. And I'm like, oh, it can make the person feel really uncomfortable. And so you'll want to keep that in mind. Then there are the people who don't look at you at all. And I've been in those situations also. I actually introduced myself, extended my hand, and they were talking to me but not listening, not listening to me, but talking to me but not looking at me. And I was like, this is a talent here. And they like shook my hand and was like, oh yeah, it's good to meet you, and I'm this and that, and they were just looking everywhere else and almost like making eye contact with other people. And I think that maybe they were distracted by so many people around them wanting to talk to them that they didn't stop and just focus in on the person that was in front of them, which is also a big mistake to make, because once again, that's showing somebody that you don't value what they have to say. I think it's really disrespectful to do something like that. There are always times where you'll be in social settings where multiple people kind of want to talk to you, and you've got different conversations that are kind of like about to start and you're in the middle of one, but just listening to that person, addressing that person that is in front of you, and even if you've got to like signal to someone else, like I see you, but not looking every place other than where the person is that's right in front of you. You know, pay attention, sustain that eye contact. Then I've also been in a situation where the person averted their eyes, but not because they were nervous. They were interested, actually. And they were interested in what was going on below my neckline. And their eyes kept darting back and forth. And I was in a formal setting where I was sitting with them, and I was actually really interested in what they had to say, and I was asking them questions. But I guess, like, the blouse that I was wearing, I leaned forward, and I don't know, they saw something that made their eyes, like, dart back and forth. And I didn't notice at first, like, what was happening. And I was like, oh, this is strange. Sat back, and I was like, oh, no, you know, they're looking. And at that point, like, my heart kind of sank, because I lost respect for that person. I thought they were a very intelligent person, and this doesn't take away their intelligence, but apparently they weren't intelligent enough to not do that. And so that's another thing to consider when it's, you know, when you're talking to a woman, like, give her respect by looking her in the eyes, not only showing that you are truly listening to her, and not just viewing her as an object. So those are all really important things to keep in mind when it comes to eye contact, because it comes back to body language and what we say with our bodies, even when we're not verbally speaking. We are conveying so many messages with our bodies, from our hand motions to, you know, our eyes and all kinds of things in between. And I'm kind of obsessed with that idea of body language, and I will like immerse myself in articles about it, and I have a book about it also that I'm reading, and I hope to in the future get this person onto my channel and be able to interview them. They're experts really at it, and I'm excited at the thought of it. So it's in the plans, it's in the works, and when we see it through, I'll let you know. But yeah, body language is really important, and definitely eye contact, sustaining it. I vote sustain. Don't avert your eyes. I know it feels like your comfort place to avert your eyes and to not look into someone's eyes when they make you nervous, but it's not going to get you anywhere if you do that. You want to come off as a confident person, and that'll help build your confidence as you continue looking people in the eyes, because you want to show them respect, but you also want them to respect you and not to see you as a weak person or someone that doesn't have confidence, because some people will take advantage of that. If they notice certain traits within you, then there are unfortunately people out there who can take advantage of that and kind of run with it. So do yourself a favor and do the other person that's in that conversation with you a favor and look them in the eyes. And I think that's all I have to say about that, guys. Let me know in the comment section if you have any experiences with eye contact, as far as somebody sustaining it for a little bit too long, or someone who didn't look you in your eyes, that was distracted by all the other things. If there was somebody whose eyes were darting back and forth, let me know too. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who can relate. And so thank you so much for listening. If you like this content, give it a like, and if you would like to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button, and then you can go and look at, I have 2 playlists. They are my own personal stories where I'm talking about my struggles and my successes with communication, and then there's also interviews. Those are lengthier videos, and those are interviews with different smart, talented people who give me their stories of communication. And a lot of the times it's through the lens of things like creativity, like poetry, or one of the other that was the latest video I did, one about poetry with Michelle Russell. It's awesome. You should go check it out. There's a fellow YouTuber. Her name is Melanie A. You should go check out her channel also. And she has some really transparent, honest videos that I love. And we talked about the idea of habits and how to communicate around good and bad habits. So that's a really good one too. So just some deep dives into communication from different points of view. I love speaking to other people about it and seeing what their take is on it and how they communicate from day to day with people in their lives. So go check it out. I'm really excited, really happy that you came here, really excited that you're choosing to watch this video. Hello to any of my new subscribers. Hello again to my OG subscribers. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.